All right, guys, let me know if you can hear me. I know I jumped right on. I was like, why waste time? We're going to try to keep this probably about 20 minutes. So hopefully you guys can hear me. But anyway, since it's recording and yeah, all right, cool. Since it's recording, let's get on with the show. So, guys, tonight we're going to talk about how this is now concerning. Now, hear me out. Moving forward, there's going to be a lot of new concerning things. Another friend, thank you for the 5x5. Appreciate it. Maria, Groundhog, Krista, CJ, WTC, Mr. Landfill, Homegrown. Thank you for the donation. Rick, what's going on? Buy the book, Patty S, Lisa, Original One Shot One Kill, Gick Grimes, Black Widow, Zizzer, whatever that is, sorry. Henry, Dan Phillips, thank you for the 5x5. Greg, Mr. Life, thank you for the 5x5. Beef and Chicken, Steffi, thank you for the 5x5. Madge, thank you for the 5x5. All right, guys, and Shalom, Jason. All right, guys, so thank you for the 5x5s, everybody. So, again, there's going to be a lot of concerning things coming out in the next couple of years, probably in the next couple of months, I would say as well. But more over the next couple of years, we're going to see a lot of concerning issues with the arm ticket. And one of the concerning things, like I was mentioning in the Angry Prepper, is the mental instabilities on the rise. We're seeing mental health issues all over the place now. I mean, with everything and everybody. Now, some people will argue that it was the lockdowns or it's technology or it could be the spraying of the sky. It could be a multitude of things, right? But we saw a jump in psych patients in the last, I don't know, year, 2 years maybe. We saw a huge jump. We saw people offering themselves and offering their families, a huge jump in that. We got people like, I think some of you heard of her. I think it's called Benny the Crackhead, or I think it's Benny the Crackhead or something the Crackhead. She was on um, Piers Morgan's show. That idiot, right? That had the wig on and her tits were out. I think it's called Benny the Crackhead or Bertha, some shit like that, whatever. But yeah. And this psych patient was the one that confronted Alec Baldwin the other day. Crackhead Barney, thank you. Of course, Steph, someone, Barney, I said Benny. Anyway, I couldn't get it right. I thought it was Betty earlier today. I was like, yeah, Crackhead Betty. All right, it's right, Crackhead Barney. But anyway, or Barney the Crackhead, whatever it is, guys. You have people like that who, why would Pierce Morgan put her on a show? Pierre Morgan put her on a show. I don't get it. I don't understand why you would have a psych patient like that on TV. And I was sorely disappointed in that. I'm like, why would you do that? You're promoting this crazy person. You're promoting this idiot, this asshole. She was being a complete asshole on TV. And for some reason, he thought it was cool to have her on the show. And so anyway, this chick's gonna be, and now her Instagram is probably blowing up. She's probably getting followers. She's probably gonna become famous, guys, for being a complete jerk, a jerk off. Imagine that, right? So anyway, you got all of these issues going on. You got people carrying on, guys. You got people filming themselves breaking the law. And I don't ever remember growing up and seeing people with the self snitching. These people are snitching on themselves, and I think it a lot of it has to do with the arm ticket. I mean, listen, there's probably other things at play, but I'm gonna go on a limb and say that the arm ticket caused a lot of this shit, because there's also other problems developing. You have brain issues going on now. There's lesions on the brain. Some people are developing lesions on the brains out of nowhere. Headaches they can't explain, blurred vision. I read somewhere that someone lost their vision in their one of their eyes, left or right eye. I'm like, what the hell's, again? And But it could also be a combination of things too. That's the other problem. And I don't want to sound like I'm all over the place, but I think I'm going to kind of be all over the place because, I mean, guys, we never seen this amount of problems or health problems in young people until about 2, 3 years ago, right? People started taking it, and of course, all of a sudden, people were developing these issues. Imagine stomach issues too. People are getting people on colostomy bags now. More people on colostomy bags more than ever. More people are getting their heart checked out, guys. Where hospitals now have a waiting list to get your heart checked out, whereas before it wasn't that big of a deal. You didn't have that many patients. There's hospitals in Connecticut that have a waiting list so long, it's about a month now before you can go see a cardiologist. A cardiologist. And this is what happens when you take what you call. So now Japan, guys, has an excess death as well. They just hit 115,000 following the third shot. Now, there was a study that states why this is happening. And they're saying it's predominantly in older people, but still, there's a reason, guys, why they're calling it that. There's a reason why they're calling it excess deaths, right? They're calling it that for a reason. It's because this is popping up, and I don't know if they had that term ready to rock and roll, or they're noticing this as well, and they're like, "Shit, we got to do something about it." Right? You got the UK, they have they're investigating it. Australia is investigating it. New Zealand is investigating the excess deaths. United States is trying to pretend it doesn't exist. But I have to tell you guys this: in the New York City Fire Department, there is a investigation squad, if you will. I don't want to call them a squad, but I think it's like one dude. And anytime anybody on the job complains of chest pain or weird ailment, this gentleman calls you up and asks you questions. And he wants to know whether you took the arm ticket, how many times you took the arm ticket, and when did you start having these problems. He gives you like a barrage of questions to ask, and this is within the fire department, right? So if this is going on inside the fire department, that means there are people waking up to the fact that the arm ticket is absolutely causing an issue. But here we are, well, not us, but a lot of people are pretending it doesn't exist. They're pretending that the problems that are going on, guys, the people that are coming down with these ailments, high blood pressure is through the roof, blood clots through the roof, brain ailments, if you will, because there's a multitude of them through the roof, turbo cancers and or cancers through the roof, suicide through the roof. Someone said this isn't happening in NYPD. That's interesting. I thought the NYPD would have followed suit, but I guess you might work for them, so you would know better than I do. But yeah, so again, guys, if certain organizations are starting this investigation, if you will, this questionnaires into people having these issues, something is up. And again, this is why I never touched it, right? This is why I didn't take it. Because you cannot trust anybody, guys, who tells you you need to take this or else. You guys were so adamant about it that you cost people their livelihoods over this shit. I mean, people lost their jobs over this shit. People lost money. People lost family members and loved ones over this shit because they were forcing us to take something we didn't need. And now they're turning around saying, "Oh, they might not have needed it." But anyway, these problem guys are going to continue to go on, and they're going to get worse, right? These problems are going to get worse, obviously. We're going to see more of these issues, and I'm just waiting to see how bad they're going to get. Is the hammer going to get dropped? Are we going to see something that's going to look like a nightmare? Are things going to get that bad? I mean, people, guys, are already losing loved ones. People are waking up and their loved ones are dead. People are feeding their loved ones because they're paralyzed now. Some of their loved ones are psych patients and completely crazy on medications now. You got people who have feeding tubes and or colostomy bags. You got people that are sitting in cancer centers. You got people who are having heart issues and don't know what to do, and doctors don't know what to do. Doctors don't even know what to fucking look for or why the problem exists. A lot of these doctors are just guessing, guys, what they need to treat whatever's going on with their patient. They don't know because they've never seen this before. You got doctors telling you this is kind of weird. We've never seen this before. You got doctors who think, or rather know, it was the arm ticket. But there's nothing that can be done. You see, once you figure out, guys, that it was the arm ticket, then what? Where do you go from there? Right? You have to sit here and now deal with the repercussions of you taking something you didn't need and being forced to take. Now, listen, a lot of people, again, weren't forced. A lot of guys I argue with all the time, I'm like, you weren't forced. You chose to take it because you had an option. Being forced, guys, is if they put a gun to your kid's head and they're like, we're going to kill your kid or you're going to take this. That's being forced. Now, if you don't like that kid, make the decision you want to make. But if you love your kids, that's putting you in a position of where you have to do it. That's a no choice situation, right? Hey, I'm gonna shoot you in your dick, or you take this. I don't want to lose my dick. I'm gonna take that, right? So again, guys, those are being put in a position where you don't have a choice, right? I don't want to be a eunuch, so I'm not getting shot in the dick. So I'll take the shot. But when you have a choice, guys, leave, take a couple days off, weeks or months off, or take this arm ticket. Now the very guys who took the arm ticket are complaining about health issues. Crazy, man. Fucking sky is nice tonight. It's very nice out here. I should have used the other fireplace. The other fireplace is a little nicer, and there was nobody over there tonight. But I figured here was a safer bet. I don't know, man. This is only going to get worse, and and the problems that people are still taking the arm ticket. Yeah, right. Mickey said I had to take two or be banned. Listen, guys, my son missed his graduation because of this shit. They wanted him to get the arm ticket and us. And obviously, I was like, yo, guess what he's doing? He's not going to his graduation. Listen, guys, some things are far more important than a graduation. Some things are far fucking more important than a birthday party or a trip. And everybody had an excuse. They were like, well, I had to go see my kid in his college, graduation. Fuck it. Then you don't go. Because is going to a graduation that's all of an hour long worth having heart issues or brain issues for the next several years? I don't think so. That's what pictures and videos are for. Welcome to the 21st century, guys, because there's no excuse other than, yo, my life was on the line. If your life was on the line, I get it. But no one's life was on the line. Everybody had a fucking choice. The problem is, a lot of people come up with excuses. I don't have an excuse. My son missed his graduation. He missed his little dance thing that he was supposed to go to. He missed a lot. Such is fucking life, guys. Such is life. Guess what's not going to happen to him? His dick's not going to fall off and he's not going to have heart issues. But a lot of people just made excuses. Fucking really nice out here, man. But I don't know, man. Again, you just because of this bullshit. And the thing is, I mean, and I know a lot of you guys on here. A lot of you guys lost family members, and someone just mentioned it. People lost family members over this bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, just imagine. You were conned. A lot of people were conned into taking it. And see, that's another thing, guys. If you took it because you were conned, that's an entirely different conversation, right? You believed in it because the media, Fauci, the president, they all told you to take this because it was going to make the world a better place. If you got conned, you're in an entirely different group because you believed it. You fell for it. And it happens, you know? Such is life. It happens. People fall for shit, man. But don't but when you were faced with the option and you went and took it anyway, yeah, that's an issue. And a lot of guys, they still try to make bones about it. They're like, well, I had to feed my family. I'm like, fucko. If 3,000 people bailed out of work in one day, you think the job was gonna fucking put us on LWOP? No, they weren't. But everybody got scared and they used the excuse of their family being fed. A lot of guys have side jobs. They could have fed their family with their side jobs, but they wanted to make the excuse because they were scared. And none of them will admit that they're scared, but I always call them cowards to their faces for those that fucking sat there and walked across the bridge and marched and made a scene in the fucking kitchen or outside on the job or on social media. They made scenes and then they turned around and bend the knee. Yes, sir, boss. I'll stick it in my eye if you want me to. I'll tap dance too while I'm at it because that's what guys became. Everybody. They became the shuckling Negro. Shuckle and jive. Step and fetch it. But now the health problems are coming, and this is going to be the ugly part. This is going to be one of those things, guys, where people will not. There are going to be a lot of people with heartache and pain. There are going to be a lot of people going to be disappointed, so disappointed. They're just they the things that they're going to witness and the things they're going to see is going to be heartbreaking because we hadn't seen shit yet. People thought they did. People thought they saw some shit. You haven't seen shit yet, guys. You really haven't. Yeah, water tiger. Listen, I mean, like I said, I got Mr. 19 for being a fucking asshole. But I tell you this much, once I got it, I, I got sick like two more times after that, and I never get sick. So I don't know if my system was run down from that or whatever it was, but I got sick two more times, and I had a fucking, and I have allergies now. Now I don't know if the allergies is old age or is that, but there's definitely something to it. I don't discount Mr. 19, having its after effects either, but definitely something's up. Yeah, but again, when I had it, I had it for 3 days. I was good. I was ready to rock and roll. But there are people who told me they had it for a month, and then their symptoms lasted months. I'm like, no, thank you, no dice, man. I'm out on that bullshit. Fucking can't taste your food for a month. Ugh, that's bullshit. Someone said I lost my taste for like a year. Yeah, I couldn't imagine, man. You know, I mean, listen, I thought I had COVID recently when I had the Bell's palsy because I couldn't taste on the left side of my tongue, right side of my tongue. I couldn't taste anything. I was like, oh my God, I got COVID. And then I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh my God, I'm having a stroke. And then I wasn't having a stroke. It's Bell palsy. But still, it was uh it was shitty. When someone says we're all on a list. And listen, the shit that they're suspected to come down and the mass um passing of people, there's a lot of theories with that. I don't think we're going to go down that road of a mass die off, but we'll definitely see mass ailments. We're going to see a lot of people get sick, and we're going to see people be sick for a long time. And the cancer thing is out of control. Now that's the crazy shit. The amount of people, guys, at the job, fire department, that are developing cancer out of nowhere, all of a sudden, that's an issue. A lot of young guys are getting this. A lot of young guys who weren't even around. Because at least guys of my age, we can go back and say the trade center did that. But there are a lot of young kids who weren't even on the job at the time, and they're coming down with this shit. There are a lot of police officers coming down with cancer. Yeah, pancreatic cancer, guys, is game over. You find out you have pancreatic cancer, you're toast. Like toast. There's no coming back from that. And again, this shit's just running rampant all over the place. People are like, but why is this happening all of a sudden? And then they're like, it's got to be the food. And then you have somebody, I shit you not, blame climate change. I'm like, what? Climate change for this shit? Some people are just either scared, don't want to recognize what it is, but climate change is being blamed for everything. So apparently, guys, I didn't notice, but I'm going to talk about it in the next live stream. There's something called a severe storm week or severe storm readiness week, and that was this week in New York. Kathy Hochul was talking about how people should get ready for severe storms. And of course, what pops up in that conversation? Climate change, without fail. Climate change popped up. They were like, oh, because of climate change, this is why we have to deal with this. I'm like, oh my God, it's never ending. It's never ending. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go off the air now. I got to drive back home tomorrow morning, head back to New York. And yeah, this was a good conversation. I just think, guys, that things are just going to get a whole hell of a lot worse in regards to that. And we're going to be having this conversation a lot more because more things will pop up. But other than that, guys, thank you for joining me. Thank you for dealing with my bullshit. And I will see you guys next week.